Saturday.
Did you work with the other writers, or was just you and
I
Chappelle
worked,
huddled?
me and Dave and Brian. Brian Tucker had pitched idea and wrote for like a month on Chappelle Show before Dave left. Guy named Brian Tucker. He's now the head writer at SNL, or one of the head writers. He and I and Dave wrote on Monday night. We wrote that Walking Dead sketch, and then Tuesday, me and Michael Che wrote a Rick James update piece that we ended up cutting because
you already had the other piece where you're bringing back
Dave
the
was so overwhelmed that he was like, literally, he was like, he did it at read through. It was funny, and then on Saturday he was so overwhelmed where he's like, how many things am I in?
Yeah.
To the point where he was like, they were doing update. And they were rehearsing up with the audience. Like, it's 8:40, and there's the wig, and Chappelle's like, all right, I'll rehearse Rick James, and it's like, no, dude, like, they're done. Like, we can't rehearse it now.
Yeah.
The decision was already made that you're just not going to do it. So he was like, do you want me to? I'm sorry, man. Like, I can go and he was just so flooded. So me and Che wrote that. We wrote a version when Donald Trump lost, and then when at 6 p.m. and then at 2:30 we rewrote it. 2:30 in the morning we rewrote it because he won.
Jesus.
And then I got there on Wednesday, and me and Colin Jost wrote the thing that Chris ended up being in, the election night sketch.
Yeah.
Because that was basically what happened to us.
Yeah.
We were on a conference call. That
was the sketch that the whole episode hinged on.
Yeah.
That was the voice of the episode.
Yeah. We were on a conference call, me and NBC News. Jost had some sort of password where you could get on a conference call with Frank Luntz, the pollster. We're on a conference call at 5:30 in the afternoon on Tuesday, and he goes, Hillary's going to win by 5. So I literally said, I don't think there's ever going to be a Republican president again. I heard there's a worse kid. Literally all the dumb shit that the white people said was all shit I said.
Yeah.
And so we did it at read through, and then it was good, and it was like a good template. And then Dave was like, why don't you? He was like, my angle needs to be sharper, in terms of just a black guy going you guys fucking don't understand how gross America is.
Yeah.
And then so it was a good synergy of template and voice. And and then Wednesday maybe Tuesday we shot the thing with Dave's daughter. And then Wednesday we did read through all day. What was the cool thing about the week was, and then Thursday and Friday we shot the Walking Dead shit at 7 a.m. So we'd go to Brooklyn at 7 a.m. to shoot. We'd shoot till 1, and then we had to go to this 30 Rock and block and rehearse sketches, and then I had to go to rewrites, and it was just like a ton of work.
And you were in rewrites in the room with the writers?
Yeah. Well, the cool thing was that I know Lorne through just from being around, and me and Seth Meyers are really good friends, and so whatever. Lorne will bring me in every once in a while to see if I want to do something, and nothing's ever worked out. So what was cool was him including very much including me in the process,
because that's unusual for an outside writer to come in and be sort of just brought into the whole process.
Yeah, but because I'm friends with all the producers, I'm friends with the head writer, I'm friends with so many people there. He was very inclusive in terms of sketch picking, and then the cool thing was on Friday night we were going over the thing. And I was like, hey man, he's got a board, and I was like, Lauren, you should switch those 2 sketches. And he was like, okay. I think there was a part of him that was did you just tell me to switch sketches? But, all right, fucking. And he was like, okay, and switched them. And then Dave had left, and then Lauren called me back up to his office and was like, do you think election night is good enough to do as a cold open? And I was like, oh, that's nice. And I was like, I go, yeah. I wish it was 15% funnier. And he's like, it's a good thing we have comedy writers around. He's a funny dude.
Uh-huh.
And then the cool thing was during the show, there were 2 sketches, like at 12:45, there were 2 sketches up, and we were only gonna be able to do 1. So I asked the stage manager, I was a manager, I was like, what's next? And she was like, I thought you knew. And I was like, I'll ask Lorne. And so I went and I go, what's next? And he goes like, what do you think?
No shit.
Yeah, it was fucking cool. It was like a real...
That's the opposite of how I pictured Lorne Michaels.
I know. That's the thing where people are like, he's a fucking asshole. And da-da-da-da.
Well, not an asshole, but just very like, in control.
Yeah, but he was like... He was a big fan of Chappelle Show. And I think he's always like... I sat next to him at dinner. Like... We're cool.
Wow.
Like he drove me from the after party to Dave's party afterward. Like Lorne's a comedy writer.
Yeah.
And so I think because we're similar in a way. Like he was a performer. He was like there's a lot of similarities. Like and not a ton, whatever. And so he was like, "What do you think?" And so I literally. It was up to me.
So what is that like now? You've worked 17-hour days for 5 days. I would think that you would finish shooting SNL and just go fucking collapse in your hotel room. But no, you go to an after party and an after
party. And I got home at like 5:30 or something. And then my flight was at noon. So like I was just like, bit. And then, or maybe I didn't even have, I think my flight, maybe I didn't even go to sleep.
Yeah.
I think I just got on a flight and left it. And then, as a tribute to the entire week.
Where was the after party?
I think the Slipper Room or something, or some room. But it was like Dave was on stage with a band, and then people would get up. Like I think Lenny Kravitz played and Busta Rhymes.
Dave got up and sang?
Well, he sang. Yeah, he just like carries on. There's no other word for it. He just like. It's just like a bunch of, it just becomes like I don't know what the fuck you call it.
A session.
Yeah. And he just stands up there and gives shout outs.
To his posse?
Yes. Yes, to his posse. So that was a cool, it was a great week in that I felt talented for doing the election night sketch. And it was a cool thing to work that closely with Lorne and like feel like I did a good job. It like it's just adrenaline where it just kicks in. And it's also the fight or flight thing of like, well, I'm not going to bomb. I said that to Dave. Like there was because it was like a hard week. It was like a hard week emotionally. It was a hard week. Like, and I said like before rehearsal, before dress, I was like, he was just like, he felt like he was gonna bomb, and he felt like I'm fucked, and I'm.
Oh really?
Yeah, just because you don't know. It's on Chappelle Show. We would shoot the sketch, edit it, take it to Caroline's, see how it played,
kill it if you need to,
kill it if we need to. He was fairly protected. This was like, I did it at read through. I don't know. It's
camera guys laughed.
Like it's like you don't know, so you're like I don't, and no one likes bombing. I can't think of anyone who likes bombing less than Dave.
Not only that, but this was coming
like
out
12
of retirement.
years of like my comeback, and it's like it was like so much pressure that was making him miserable.
Yeah.
And I like behind the exit there, the entrance for like the Dave Chappelle, and then he comes out. Like I stood back there and I was like, dude, fucking fight, because he was just so like, ugh. And I was like, dude, you gotta fucking like this is like you need to summon something.
And do you feel like he did?
Yeah. Yeah, he's like fucking. He was even at like the we were in his dressing room at like 11:15, and Lorne came in, and Dave was still really worried. And
was it just you two?
Yeah, and Lorne came in, so it was the three of us. Rock might have been in there, but maybe not. And Dave's like, "Well, Lorne, I'll promise you one moment of amazing television. That's all. I don't know when it's gonna be." but I promise you one moment. And it's like, and then he does that last minute of the monologue, which he didn't do in rehearsal. And you're like, fucking Jesus.
No shit.
No.
He just pulled that out of his ass?
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. Just like, okay.
Now, I watched that and I thought, as good as anything Pryor's ever done.
Yeah. It's because it was like emotional.
Yeah.
That's the thing that Dave can do that Chris can't do. Dave actually said that during the week. Somebody was like, or on Saturday, someone was like, tell him like it is. And Dave goes, Chris tells it like it is. I tell like it feels, which is a good.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was this thing of like, that's the thing about Dave is like, I don't know. Literally, I don't even, he says shit like that. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm going to give you one moment of of unforgettable television. And I'm like, what? And then he does it. You're like, okay. Yeah. I don't know. I'm pretty, when people go like, did you ever get jealous of Dave and Chappelle? I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Different thing.
Yep.
Totally different.
Species.
Literally don't even know what the fuck he's talking about. And he did it.
Yeah. Right. Right. And now what's he going to do he's got a deal now to do two Netflix
of them he's doing 3. Two of them are already shot.
Already?
Yeah.
In how much time?
He shot them like in the last year or something.
Wow.
Yeah. And then one he'll shoot.
And how prepared was the material on those?
That I don't know. I wasn't involved, so
yeah.
I don't know. I don't. He does the road a lot, so
yeah.
I think
it's amazing though because he does the road, but he shows up and just kind of walks on stage and goes for 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah.
He doesn't seem to have a piece of paper he's written jokes down on.
No.
He doesn't record it.
Yeah. No, I don't. His process is bananas.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. It's not. I wouldn't like advise. It's not doable. It's not like that's a template.
Yeah.
Like just walk out and talk extemporaneously.
Yeah.
Comedy Central used to get mad about that, where they go like, "Can we see the intros for sketches before?" We're like,
Yeah.
There aren't any. We did one where it was written and it sucked.
Yeah.
It's like there aren't. There are no. It's just.
And don't get in his head.
Yeah, it's just an ad hoc
You're
thing.
just
like
you're gonna fuck with him.
Something good. He can just make something good happen.
Yeah, and you can shoot it for as long as you want.
That was the other thing of doing SNL was like, when we would shoot sketches and on stage, you can just improvise.
Mm-hmm.
But SNL, you're locked into the script because everyone is there's cameras and all the other actors you can't improvise. So he was just like trapped in these like in the thing. So yeah, it was fucking crazy. It was like if people had been there, you wouldn't have believed it. If there was like a documentary about it, it would have been like amazing to see his transformation.
And it's one of those things where
talk is cheap, motherfucker.